Hello, my guys. Welcome to another episode of the Micro Kicks. Yes, it's the weekend, and we've been having some here with goals concerning transfers. And you might be wondering, why am I putting on the Barcelona jersey and I have a Manchester United jersey right behind me? So the fact is, these are the two active clubs in the last 24 hours when it comes to transfers. So they've been signing players, at least one or two players. So we have to really talk about them. And these are, a very, very big side, a very big club, in their respective leagues. So let's talk about Marcus Rashford. Okay, it's a year we go for Marcus Rashford. But before Marcus Rashford, yesterday's Mbeumo's deal got confirmed. Congratulations to Manchester United. They finally got their man after so long, in conversations, in transactional talk and everything concerning the actual fee, to pay for Mbeumo. So congratulations to Manchester United. I hope he does so well in Manchester United. In fact, he's a Premier League proven player. He scored 20 goals in the Premier League last season. So that itself is a plus. And that is what Manchester United needs in their team, because you cannot rely on just Bruno Fernandes. You cannot rely just on a striker. So when you have goals coming from Matheus Cunha, and you have goals coming from Bryan Mbeumo, and you have goals coming from Fernandes, and you also have goals coming from the striker, it lightens the body. It's a plus, to the team entirely. So congratulations to Manchester United for getting that deal over the line. I think that is a very, very good deal. You might want to say it's overpriced, but if a player like Madueke or a player like Kudus, who they all, even Elanga, who they all have, less than 10-15 goal contribution in the whole season. Kudus have 8 or 10 goal contribution. Madueke have 8 or 10 goal contribution. While Elanga have like 10-15 goal contribution. While a player like Mbeumo has 28 goals and assists. 20 goals and probably 8 assists also. So he deserves that money. But trust me, every player who goes to Manchester United must have that Manchester United tax in there. So it's a very good one for Manchester United. But we are not here to talk about Manchester United when it comes to incoming players. We are talking about outgoings. Now, what are we talking about? Marcus Rashford. That's the biggest story for today. Marcus Rashford, it's a year we'll go for Marcus Rashford, to Barcelona. Now, let's read what Fabrizio said concerning Marcus Rashford. He said, breaking news, Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, here we go. Verbal agreement in principle between all parties involved, with backup planning for medical tests next days. Loan deal with a buy option. Details being finalized today, and Manchester United will authorize his travel to Spain. So, Marcus Rashford to Manchester United, it's a good deal for him, all right? Because Barcelona is a very, very big team. Barcelona is arguably one of the biggest teams, or arguably the biggest team in Spain. After Real Madrid, you have Barcelona, arguably, right? But this is a very good deal. And Marcus Rashford, the quality player who has done so well in his time at Manchester United until the last couple of his seasons, probably 2 seasons or so, before he went on loan to Aston Villa. Trust me, there's a player in there. All right, let's be honest. He's skillful. He has an eye for goal. He's very good on the ball. Now, to me, I think for Barcelona, this is a safe option to them. This is a safer route to them, in the sense that after they lost the Nico Williams deal, that Nico Williams actually resigned, for Athletico Bilbao. Now they needed an alternative. Now, they went in for a player like Luis Diaz from Liverpool. Now, that will cost them a whole lot. All right? Now, they have to spread their balance. They have to spread their spending. Because Barcelona, whether I would like it or not, are still going through financial hard times. All right? Now, for a safer option, it has to be a loan. Now, we are not saying they cannot spend to buy Marcus Rashford. I'm not saying Marcus Rashford is not worth a permanent buy. But if we should go by what Sancho did last season for Chelsea, which to me, I don't think it was really, really 100% bad. Probably it was maybe 20% bad, you get, But for Marcus Rashford, a loan deal was the best option. Now, I have something against players who wants to prove a club wrong and who wants to prove a coach wrong. In the sense that they want to change an environment. They want to change clubs. With the mindset and with the motive of the fact that I want to prove you wrong, I want to prove you wrong, I want to prove you wrong. Not them actually doing well for the new club, of them improving themselves, or them trying to get better. It's always that motive of doing better, the freedom fighters itself. But that being said, I think he's going to do well at Barcelona. I think there's a player in there, he's very talented, he's very good. I think he's going to show what he's made of. I think he's going to do well. Barcelona needs an alternative after losing Nico Williams, like I said. And, you know, Marcus Rashford on the left wing, or probably in the middle. Now, this is what Marcus Rashford brings to the table. He's a very versatile player. He could play left wing. He can play the number 10 role. He can also play up front. And that's what Barcelona needs, because you can't overload and overwork Rafinha. You can't overload and overwork Lewandowski, because this is already a 36, 37-year-old player. You can't overload and overwork him. So probably during the course of the season, there will be so many games. All right, Marcus Rashford can play left wing, can play in number 10 role. He can also play up front. So that is a plus to the team as well. Now, for the buy option, you know, for Marcus Rashford, I think is a very decent fee. 40 million to him. Let's not forget he's still contracted to Manchester United. So a very good fee, a very decent fee. You know, 40 million to me, I don't think it's bad for the quality of what Marcus Rashford would actually bring to the team. You know, when he gets into his stride, when he gets into his person, when he gets into his mode, this is a player that can deliver. This is a player that can score goals. He has done it over and over again in Manchester United until the last couple of seasons that it didn't work out for him and he had to go on loan to Aston Villa. Even when he went to Aston Villa, you saw the quality in him. You saw what he could do. So I wish him all the best. I hope he does well. You know, Manchester United also sent some players on loan last season. Not all of them worked out. The only player I think that really worked out was Anthony. All right. The Marcus Rashford was averagely good. Sancho was just there. You know, Malacia was nothing to write home about. But I think this is their best bet when it comes to recouping some of the funds, and this serves as pure profit, you know, to Manchester United. So I wish him all the best. I hope he goes, you know, over to Spain, you know, do well. I hope he get game time, you know, because it will be hard to get game time in that kind of team. That is a quality team. But when he gets into his mode, when he gets the opportunity, I hope he delivers and he actually do well. So congratulations to him once again for securing the loan, you know, over to Manchester, over to Barcelona. So let's move to the next topic for today, which is a topic for yesterday, which I didn't have the time to actually record. Now, according to Fabrizio, he said Chelsea and Arsenal are amongst clubs attentive to Xavi Simmon's situation this summer. He is prepared to leave Leipzig as revealed since May, and Premier League top clubs are informed. No bid or talks yet. So before we talk about this, tell me what you think concerning Marcus Rashford deal to Barcelona. Share your thoughts in the comment. Let me know what you think about that deal. So another tweet concerning Xavi Simons and what he is worth, according to Jacobs Ben, that's Ben Jacobs, he said Xavi Simons is keen on the Premier League move. 56 million plus add-ons is understood to be what Leipzig wants. He is on Chelsea and Arsenal radar. So first of all, Xavi Simons, a very good player, a very good young talented player. Now, I think he came from the Barcelona academy or something, moved to PSG or PSG. Yeah, he couldn't get game time at PSG because they were all, you know, better players and bigger players and more older players and more experienced players than him in that PSG side. Then he went to PSV on loan, I think for 2 seasons or so. He did well. You know, then PSG, or a season, the PSG bought him and PSG had a buyback clause. Now, PSG bought him back, but still couldn't guarantee him playing time. And he had to go on a permanent deal, you know, to Leipzig. Then PSV, I think they have like a sell-on clause or whatever included in that deal. But that being said, I think Xavi Simons is a very good player. If you have seen his clip, if you have seen how he plays, you could see that this is a player who has confidence in him. This is a player who could change a game. He has those passes. See the confidence that this guy is actually built with. It's very rare, you know, for a player of that age. He has been in the Dutch national team. He understands how you know, he has been there. He has played under few coaches in the national team already. So he has a little bit of experience already in him. Now, he's a player that has shot power. All right, when it comes to shot power, outside shots, outside the box, he's there. He knows how to take a shot. He knows how to like very accurate when it comes to those shots taking, you know, power, you know, outside the box. And whenever he takes them, it's either a goalkeeper, you know, saves it, or probably goes in the net, or probably, you know, the right bar, or the, you know, the bar actually saves it or something, the upright bar and thereabout actually saves it. So he has that confidence to actually take on you know, accurate shots, and he loves to drive the ball. He's a player that can take on 1, 2, 3 players that can. He's a player that can beat the opponent. You know, the player that can beat with one good trickery, beats the defense. So he has that quality. Ball carries is there. He can push the ball. He can dribble. You know, he can, you know, come out of tight spaces and everything. And he's very confident. That is what I like about him. He's a very, very confident player. That being said about him. Now, is it worth that amount of money? Yes, in the sense that he's still young. Secondly, I think PSG have a sell-on clause or whatever in the deal, so that's included as well. He has the world at his feet, like he has the bright future ahead of him, so that's also included. He's still a young, promising player. If a player like Madueke and the rest can go for that amount of money, let's understand that the transfer window and the market is very expensive at this point. Look at the amount that Ekitike is being quoted for right now. All right, Liverpool just sent another bid. Let me even check this one. Liverpool just sent another bid of 90 million total package, you know, for Ekitike. Now let's talk about Xavi Simons, a very, very good player who has played in top flight football for up to 3 to 4 seasons now. So he's there, he's good. Will Chelsea pay that amount of money? I don't think so. Will Chelsea want to gamble on the deal? Yes, they might gamble on the deal. This is not a player that will put if he's coming to be an understudy to Cole Palmer. It's not a player that will put Cole Palmer to the bench. He can only play when Cole Palmer wants to be rested, or when Cole Palmer needs time off, or probably other competitions that he has to also play. Now, would you go into the market as a Chelsea director to spend £56 million on a player who would not start games for you? I don't think so. So that is what I think that sporting directors might not do. So he's been offered by his agent to Chelsea and to Arsenal. All right. I don't think Chelsea might want to budge on this deal, but if they do, this is a quality player, no doubt. But would Chelsea actually want to pay, you know, for this player? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think, would you want to have Xavi Simons in your team as a Chelsea fan? Please let me know, you know, and share your thoughts in the comments. So let's move, you know, to the next story concerning still concerning Chelsea also. Now, according to Fabrizio, he said Chelsea are now busy with some outgoings. They signed several players already. Now it's time to sell some. So Chelsea are now ready, you know, to concentrate on selling some players. You know, they have to sell players to generate a lot of income when it comes to PSR reasons and also UEFA reasons concerning buying and selling of players as well. Now, concerning that, Chelsea wants to sell player, right? Now let's move. Who do Chelsea want to sell? Who are these players? Now, there's one player which will be leaving Chelsea. Now, according to Fabrizio again, he said Ranato Viega is expected to leave Chelsea this summer. With a permanent move anticipated, race is open. Interested clubs are Atlético Madrid, Bayern, and Premier League clubs. Chelsea wants package over 35 million for Ranato Viega. Talks continue. Now, one thing I like with these directors is once a player doesn't work out, or once a player is not patient enough to stay, what they do, they let him go. If a player wants to leave, they let the player go. Now, Renato Veiga was bought for 12 million. If he sold for 35 million, what a game, what a fantastic buy, or what a fantastic business Chelsea have done at that moment. Because you're buying a player for 12 million, you're selling a player for 35 million. That is like times 3 of what you bought the player for, even more, or even times times 4 or whatever of what you bought the player for. Times 3 rather. What a sale that would have been. What a sale. Chelsea will get over 200% profit on that. Now, he doesn't want to stay. He played 6 months in Chelsea and he left. He was complaining that Maresca wasn't giving him enough time and he had to go on loan to Juve. And he did well at Juventus. Juve wants to keep him, but they can't pay the price. This is a quality player. To me, I think he would have stayed back. I think he would have done better. I think he would have contributed to the team. But you can't stop a player who wants to go. If he wants to go, fine. Now, Atlético Madrid has to pay the premium. Atlético Madrid needs to bring the cash out, sign the check, and pay for that guy, because this is a quality player. He's already in the Portuguese national team and he's worth that amount of money. I think this is a bargain for any team who wants to buy him, because he can play as a central defender, he can play at left back, he can also play in midfield. That is what he was brought in for to do. But trust me, this is a quality player you have in Renato Veiga. He's very good. You can see his passes are top notch. You know, hopefully, I wish he could have stayed because he would have been a good asset for Chelsea. We saw what he did when he was at Chelsea, the 6 months he spent. We saw what the quality he would have given. But trust me, this is a player I think clubs should be rushing, to get his signature, because there's a player in there. And he's still young. I think it's 2021. He's still very young, so he has time on his side, to play. So he's very huge. His physique is built, well. So let's see how that goes. Do you want, as a Chelsea fan, do you want Chelsea to still keep him or let him go? Please let me know and share your thoughts in the comment. Now, concerning one more news, for Chelsea and generally because we are time well spent already. He said, UEFA, according to Martin Ziegler, he said, UEFA wants Chelsea and Aston Villa on inflated player swap deals. Remember last season, Omari Kellyman and what's his name? This player, his name actually excused me right now, who was on loan to Borussia Dortmund, came back to Chelsea. Ian Madsen, who was on loan to Borussia Dortmund, came back and was sold to Aston Villa. Now, UEFA wants to actually put this, eyes on Chelsea when it comes to player swap and everything, because Chelsea are now thinking of swapping Jackson and Rogers. But the thing is not Chelsea's fault. There might be something in there that's not right, all right, when it comes to player valuation. But UEFA has no right to value a player. The club has the right to value a player, all right? So if Aston Villa thinks their player is worth that amount and Chelsea think their own player is worth that amount, that's their own business. But what UEFA needs to always check is to check if there's any irregularities, or check if there's any illegalities in the deal. That is what I think UEFA should do, but not telling them not to swap players or telling them you would have to always check. Yes, you can check, scrutinize every deal, scrutinize everything. But I think for Chelsea, that deal with Kellyman has to be really checked, because how can Kellyman not even appear once for Chelsea, injured the whole season and everything? I think there's actually something fishy in that deal. But that being said, let me know what you think about all these stories I've dished out today. Let me know what you think about Xavi Simons. Let me know what you think about Renato Veiga. Tell me what you think about Barcelona signing Marcus Rashford. Let me know what you think about all of that, and Mbeumo to Manchester United. Share your thoughts in the comments. Until I come your way again next time, always remember to subscribe, hit the like button, share this video, always subscribe. Until I come your way again next time, I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.